So, Happy New Year. It's the first video of 2016. And so, what better way to celebrate with Ash vs Evil Dead, the final episode of Season 1. And this is probably the first time I'm ever going to say this in a YouTube video, but one word: rep. I can't believe I've got a t-shirt with my own name on. That's actually quite weird. And on the back, it's got a picture of a xenomorph. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah. My girlfriend had that made, and very pleased with it. Very pleased. So let's get straight into Ash vs Evil Dead. Let's do this.
Stay tuned after the episode for an exclusive look inside the world of Ash vs Evil Dead.
Ooh.
And now the Star's original series, Ash vs Evil Dead.
Here we go. Get your fucking... Get on with the show. So, as always, we get a recap of the previous episodes, just to lead the audience in, and then we finally see the new installment. The opening was good, I'll admit, it was good. There was a lot of fight scenes going on. Pablo has still got the face of the book attached to his. It starts off where Kelly is trying to pull it off of him. Ruby has just spilled the beans by telling Ash that she wrote the Necronomicon. And Ash is like, what, you wrote it? All of it? And she goes, yeah, pretty much. Well, she doesn't say pretty much, but yeah, she pretty much wrote all of the Necronomicon. And then the hitchhiker, who hurt her leg in the previous... I really can't remember her name, I'm sorry. Who hurt her leg in the previous episode, the one that Pablo has an eye for, tries to make a run for it. But stopping her is Fisher, Deadite Fisher. She wanders in the room and she sees Ash. And then she looks at the chainsaw. And so she cranks the chainsaw and obviously picks it up and tries to kill him. This is where it got a bit meh. Ruby's just standing there like a lost puppy. Just... you'd think because Ruby's a badass, she'd try and do something. But I understand why she's standing there, because she doesn't know what to do, because she doesn't know whether to help Ash or whatever. So that's fine. That's fine. It's not a big complaint or anything like that. That's fine. Ash is having a scrap with Fisher. One bit I did actually laugh at as Ash falls back. He falls into the classic rocking chair, which in Evil Dead 2 there's that rocking chair. He falls back into that and goes, oh shit, and then gets back up and holds up a plank of wood. Fisher then breaks that with a chainsaw, and basically I was thinking like, oh my god, Ash is so fucked, what's he gonna do? He's got to have something up his sleeve, and he does. While Fisher and Ash are still having a scrap, Pablo is begging for Kelly to get the book off of his face. And then Pablo gets a little bit possessed. Kelly goes towards him. Pablo's eyes then change, and he says something like, stay away, or something like that. Ruby then comes in, smacks Kelly to one side of the room, grabs Pablo, and takes him down into the cellar. When I said Ash had something up his sleeve, he did. He did indeed. We get some Army of Darkness shit right now. The chainsaw comes toward Ash. He grabs it with his robotic hand, tries to pull it toward Fisher. And then she jumps up onto the roof of the cabin, or the ceiling. Ash then throws the chainsaw up in the air, takes off his robotic hand, and as the chainsaw's slowly falling down, he puts it on his hand, just like in the scene in Army of Darkness, in the pit. And then he finally gets Amanda by impaling her with the chainsaw. But before all that happens, I forgot to say, we finally heard the classic line, "I'll swallow your soul," I was like, where has it been? I haven't noticed it in any of the episodes, but I suppose they were saving it for this one. So yeah, Fisher said, "I'll swallow your soul," and I was like, they got it. They've got it. They've still got it. So anyway, Ash impales Fisher with the chainsaw, and he says quite a funny line here. He says, "Amanda, when you think about us, you may want to forget this part." And then he basically chops her in half. Sorted. And it was shown in quite good detail, actually. There was a lot of gore going on while it's Evil Dead. But yeah, there was a lot of gore there. Good detail. Good detail. Ash then discovers that Pablo is down the cellar because the door was open, and he says, "Oh crap!" And then roll the titles: Blood Splatter, Ash versus Evil Dead. Probably the longest scene before the titles. And so Ash gets his stuff together. He has now upgraded his boomstick because he's put a flashlight on it, and he goes down into the cellar to look for Pablo. But Kelly wants to tag along because, like she said, that's her Pablo down there too. So she does. She tags along. Well, I tell a lie, not as such. Ash goes to walk down the stairs, and this kind of reminded me of Evil Dead, the first one, Evil Dead, where he's just walking down the cellar stairs very, very slowly, holding up the lantern. In fact, oh my god, the scene in the Evil Dead where he's looking for Scotty. Don't turn the light off. He's looking for Scotty, and he's like, "Scotty, Scott." Like in the first film. It kind of reminded me of that. But, however, he stops and he says, "Yeah, maybe it was just a rat." And then the spirit in the woods, within the woods, awakens. And it bangs on the cabin. That sends Ash flying down the cellar, losing his balance. And then again, it goes into some. No, actually, no. It goes into some like Evil Dead 2 shit right here, where Ash is basically falling non-stop, and like there's flashing images going out behind him, like at the end of Evil Dead 2, where he got sucked into the vortex. And then he lands back where it all began, basically. Of him and the stoned girl who wanted to read. Who wanted Ash to read from the book because she likes poetry. And Ash is like, "What the fuck is this? This is just a dream. This has to be just a dream." And it is just a dream. Because Ruby is right in front of him. I was like, what? And so Ruby goes on telling Ash that he appeared in her book, which he did in Evil Dead 2. And he was flicking the pages, and then she found a picture of Ash with the chainsaw up in the air on the rock, like the scene from Army of Darkness, and that picture is shown again in this TV show. And so basically, Ruby is saying to Ash that she just wants everything to go back to the way it was, where she basically ruled over the demons. And Ash is like, "What, are you the Godfather or something?" And Ruby's like, "Yeah." And Ash goes, "Well, I hated that movie. Slow, boring, and there was not enough boobies. I'm more of a Death Wish kind of guy." I was like, yeah, fair point. So Ruby tells Ash to lay down his weapons, and Ash says, "I want the 4 years of my life back." And then Ruby butts in and says, 10 years. "I want the few years of my life back." And then she hands him a card that says Jacksonville on it. And Jacksonville is basically Ash's dream world. So she offers him to take the card and everything will be back to normal. And then Ash replies with, or I could kill you instead. He then steps on his trapdoor little thing where the boomstick comes out. Boomstick pops out, aims it at Ruby's face, pulls the trigger, and he's got no shells. Ruby then, I'm going to use the word transforms into. No, it's not a deadite. She transforms into something with black bulgy eyes, and she screams at Ash. That sends him flying back, and then cut the scene. He's back in the cellar. So it was obviously a dream sequence. And then when he was back in the cellar, my reaction was there any need for that? Really? Did we need to see that? But, well, he's back in the cellar. The door of the cellar is forced shut, so Ash has no way of getting out. So he looks for Pablo, and when he shines his light over to the wall, he sees this little albino type creature with black eyes and teeth. Kind of looks like, I'm going way off topic now, and I'm probably going on to one of my favourite things. It kind of looks like the gargoyle screamer from the KV videos that was in Germany. Why I brought that up, I don't know. It's first thing that popped to mind. That failed. First thing that popped to mind. Yeah. So Ash goes looking for Pablo, and I don't know what I'm doing there, but it doesn't matter. So he goes looking for Pablo, and we finally see another Evil Dead homage. Well, no, it's kind of a Nightmare on Elm Street homage. We see the Freddy Krueger glove hanging in the on the wall of the cellar. But in the previous films, it was in the work shed. So I guess that's what I was looking for in the episode where Ash goes into the work shed. I was going, where's that Krueger glove? Where is it? I couldn't see it, obviously, because it was in the cellar, so it's been moved. Why it's been moved, I don't know. But it's no big deal. So, he hears Pablo scream. He goes looking for him. Meanwhile, back upstairs. Sorry. Meanwhile, back up. Fucking hell. Oh, sorry. Meanwhile, back upstairs. Pub. Fucking hell. Meanwhile, back upstairs, the hitchhiker and Kelly are trying to get the door open. As Kelly shoots it, blood and bits of wood start flying all over the place. And hitchhiker says, "Is that blood?" And Kelly's replies with, "No, it's the cabin. It's fucking with us." I was like, good comment. And so Kelly notices that the tape recorder from Evil Dead 1 and 2 is playing. It's still playing. And I guess that summons the demons that are in the woods. Like it did in the first two films. And then she grabs an axe. Kelly grabs an axe and starts chopping the cellar door to get it open. And this is what I was laughing about. Oh man. Right, I was cringing, but I was laughing when I first saw it. Well, I was laughing at the fact that it happened, and I was cringing when I first saw it. The hitchhiker then sees a cockroach on her leg. She just swipes it off. Then she feels some rustling, I can't believe I'm using that word, in her shorts. She looks down, and there's a whole fucking bunch of them. They're just crawling up her. I was I couldn't watch because I fucking hate bugs that just crawl over humans. It's just so off-putting. I couldn't watch. Oh my god. That's what I was laughing about, if you was wondering. Turns out this is just a vision. that Heather is having, Heather being the female hitchhiker. I finally know her name. Kelly then walks up to her because she's screaming, and Kelly smacks her across the face. And then shit hits the fan. Kelly then gets thrown out of the cabin, whilst Heather is trapped inside and she's being tormented. This is where things really start to get fucked up for Heather, especially. Some damn cringy scenes that I witnessed in this episode. But anyway, it then cuts back to Ash in the cellar, and he comes across something awfully familiar. He sees Jake's corpse. Now, if you don't know who Jake is, he was the person in Evil Dead 2 who was like the asshole, basically. He was the redneck in Evil Dead 2 who got killed by Henrietta in the cellar. His corpse is still there, and that kind of oddly, it reminded me of Saw. Whenever someone goes into the bathroom and they either see Dr. Gordon's foot or Adam's corpse, it reminded me of Saw. But anyway, back to the point. Ash then finds Pablo being tormented by Ruby, and Ruby is making him do all this basically summon other deadites. So yeah, she's trying to make him summon other deadites, and she does, in a very grotesque way. She's saying these words, Pablo's being tormented, and then this fucking thing comes out of Pablo's mouth, just like that, and then forms into a little albino kid. Albino deadite. There we go, people, we have a new word, albino deadite. So anyway, Heather is still trapped inside the cabin, and she gets it. I thought Pablo got it bad, but she gets it quite bad. Again, it's kind of reminded me of something else, and it's reminded me of the Evil Dead remake. Heather then gets nails in the face. She then stands on the floor, gets nails through her foot, and that made me cringe. And then she gets dragged in the doorway, and that's it. And then it cuts to Heather's torso being thrown outside to Kelly, and her severed head is just talking to Kelly. And then Kelly picks up the head and just gives it a kick. You know how you would just pick up a football and just kick it? That's what she does. She just picks it up and just kicks it. Sorted. So Ash is about to go in and confront Ruby and save Pablo. But before doing that, he gets a little jump scare from the albino deadite. And he then gets attacked by the deadite, obviously, because it's a deadite. So they have a scrap, and he then blows the deadite's brains out. And I gotta say, the fight scene was pretty good. And to be honest, it was kind of funny, because as Ash is being attacked, he's like, "Get off me, you little shit!" And he's punching it and everything, and Ash is just getting bitten and shit like that. So Kelly then decides to burn the cabin, and so she does. She gets gasoline, pours it over the front of the cabin, lights on fire with a flare, and then she goes in, grabs an axe, and goes down into the cellar. So Ash is now confronting Ruby and trying to save Pablo, and this is where it really fucked up. Ash then shoots Ruby, I think about 3 times in the chest with his boomstick, and then he starts getting attacked by Pablo. But Ash refuses to kill him, obviously, because it's his friend. And then I'm going to skip ahead a bit because it's just a fight scene that's going on between Ash and Pablo. Ash is really getting his ass kicked. I mean, he's getting a hammer to the face, hammer to the kneecap, which is gotta hurt. So I'm gonna skip ahead a bit because it's just a fight scene. Kelly then walks in. Pablo then is like, "Okay, fuck you, Ash. I'm going to Kelly," and then he tries to kill Kelly. So whilst Pablo is attacking Kelly, Ruby then gets Ash and starts to carve his face off, but she doesn't. She only gets halfway, and you actually see the dagger enter his skin and everything. And Ash is like, "Oh no, not the face, not the face!" And then as Ruby's still carving down Ash's face, he's like, "Wait, I just want to know, have you lost weight?" And then he distracts her by taking the Kandarian dagger out of her hand, and he starts slicing her with it. And she is somehow not. She can't touch the dagger because it burns her, and that I don't understand. And hopefully we will know more about that. And so Ash is basically just fucking with her. He's just, burning her with it. And yet again, Ruby pulls out the Jacksonville card and saying, "This is your last chance. You can take it or leave it." And Pablo, whilst attacking Kelly, is like, "Ash, don't do it. You don't know what you're doing." And guess what? He takes it. He takes it. That's it. And I was like, what the fuck? What is going on here? And Ash and Ruby made a deal that if Ash was to take the card, Ruby would then remove the book from Pablo's face, and that does happen. And then it's seen. Ash grabs the card from Ruby's hand, and Ruby, Pablo. Oh, sorry. Kelly, Pablo, and Ash then leave in the car, in the Oldsmobile. And I'm guessing they're heading to Jacksonville. And then it shows the road behind them collapse, saying, "You're stuck in this world. You can't come back," because obviously it's collapsed. And that's where the episode ends. Kind of disappointed. Not with the violence or anything. The violence is great. Plot wise, meh. I think I was expecting like a major twist at the end. Well, we did get a twist. Well, no, we did get the twist. We got an all-time twist. Ruby wrote the book. But I was expecting someone to die, or there to be like a massive cliffhanger, even though there was, because Ruby wrote the book. But not for it to end like it did. But I will say the ending could have been better. Violence was good, quotes were good, funny at times, and all around an okay episode. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. So there we go. That is the end of Ash vs Evil Dead for now. This episode was called The Dark One, and I will be sure to give updates or whatever if I hear anything about season 2, because I will be sure to watch it. So thank you for watching. I apologise if this video has dragged on, because I feel like it has. And yeah, so see you next time. Rap. I swore I would never say it again, but I have. See you next time.